Okay, so let's try this again. It's a little weird because, I don't have any followers. I know the YouTube thing's probably good. Got to go through this whole thing where spiders have to find it and get you into search results or some crazy stuff. I don't know how they do it nowadays, but my name is Corporal Vuko and I am back. I picked up a handy cam, but still trying to figure out how to use it. So for now, I'm still using my iPhone 7. Thanks, Tim Cook, for keeping up the good work. There's one annoying thing though, I keep having these shadow images on my damn phone. If anybody knows how to get rid of those things, it's like one copy from your PC. It's kind of iCloud thing. I tried uninstalling all my iCloud stuff, and anyways, I don't want to be on a tangent here. The reason for this video is going to be, it's just sort of an overview. So I plan on writing 2 books. The first book's going to detail my life through joining the Marines and then, continuing on to my struggle with the VA to try and get a diagnosis for Gulf War syndrome illness, chronic multi-system illness, whatever they call it. So, whatever they call it now. I think they just changed the name to Gulf War syndrome. Let's see. So, all right, so my father and mother, they were both born and raised in Croatia. My mother, I'll get to her in like a whole nother story, but my father, he joined the military. Back then, after World War II, they took all the individual nations. Let me know if this sounds familiar. They took all the individual nations and put them together and forced them to be a country. And, they had peace for a while, but yet, people still held on to their nationalistic identities. And my father was one of them. So one of the things is, so he came back out of the military, and he, went back to his home village and worked on a farm with his father. And he's got all kinds of stories, and I got all kinds. I'll probably end up writing a book about him eventually if I could research his background enough. But ultimately, what happened was, like some of the town communists, the partisans, they come around and they'd say, "Hey, Bože, Bože." He's Chris here, but Bože in Croatian, it means God's gift. And believe me, growing up, he told me what his name was a lot. So, but it's okay. It turns out that the older I get, the more and more I appreciate him. So if a millennial ever sees this, you'd really be amazed at what an awesome wingman your father can be. I always thought my father was like really just loud and boisterous, but even at 86, everywhere I know that he goes, I just have to go up and just say, "There's a loud man here with an accent," and everybody knows exactly who he was. And with a good vibe, not with a bad one. So, anyways. So, the communists would come around and say, "Hey, Bože, Bože, why don't you come sing the Communist Party songs with us, have a beer?" And he'd be like, "Ja, nisam partisan, I'm not a party member." And then he'd say, "Ja sam Hrvat, I'm a Croatian." And, they didn't like that. And after word kind of got around with the different communists, we live in the Western world, in communism, this kind of stuff I'm sure still goes on in China and other places, but they didn't like that. So when word got around there's a troublemaker, well, communists just make the troublemakers go away. So one day he was coming back into the village from the farm, and before, on the road in, the town priest came out and gave him a pillowcase full of canned food and a machete. He said, "Bože, you can't go home. The communists are waiting to arrest you. If you go home, no one will ever see you again." So so there he was, 23 years old, bag of canned food and a machete, and the priest just told him, he said, "Over the mountain that way, there's Austria. Go, just go, don't look back." And he said it took him like 6 weeks to get through the mountains and everything, and when he showed up on the other side, he had a beard, and digging a beard. I did clean up, by the way, the whole neck beard thing. Even being disabled annoys the hell out of me. I'm homeless, disabled, not tasteless. All right. Okay, stay focused. My Gulf War illness will cause me to go on tangents for a while, and I even have notes now just to try and help me keep focused. So let's see. Father arrived in Austria. Go ahead and speed it up a little bit. So he ended up going to Canada, then eventually making it to America, where he became a barber and He raised 5 children. Well, I'm not going to get to the whole, I had kind of a crazy childhood, but I'm not going to get into it right now. But I burned down my first house when I was 4, so that'll kind of let you know how I started out. I ended up being a lot better, but Um, let's see. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Uh, oh yeah, okay. So maybe I will tell a little bit. Um, so in Catholic school, there's kind of like different people, and I use the term Catholic, but any denomination people that they go to like a parochial school probably get the same vibe where like the good kids, they're always the ones that when they hear the message from the priest, they hear all the fire and brimstone stuff. So you probably see a lot of them now. They either got away from their faith and went to like non-denominational places, or they're agnostic or atheist now, and just the whole fire and brimstone thing really bothered them. But if you were an undisciplined child like I was, then you heard the "oh, God forgives" message. So I tend to be more of a God forgives kind of Catholic. Never do anything really bad, but the little things. So that being said, I was an altar boy for many years. 7th and 8th grade, I was the student that went out and I got to raise and lower the flag every day. I think I missed a couple days of school at 7th grade, but then 8th grade I had perfect attendance. So I think my patriotism was well on its way to being developed at that point. So then from Catholic school, I went on to public high school. I went to Maine East High School. Half of you will probably be really happy to know that Hillary Clinton went there. Yeah, she ended up graduating from Maine South High School during her senior year, but that was like the first year that high school opened. So it was actually kind of cool. Where I won't get into that whole thing, but for the other half people that don't like Hillary, well. And politically, I'm a centrist, so it's great for me. I can laugh at Alec Baldwin on Saturday Night Live, and I can laugh at some of the worst Hillary jokes. Yeah, what the hell? So, okay, I'm gonna pretend like I'm typing my computer. Oh, hey, let me try to remember this. Oh, hey, did you see that? Oh my God, Hillary's email lawyer just died. Amazing. Looks like it was a suicide. Apparently, he shot himself in the head 6 times. Yeah. All right. So, politically, I'm a centrist. I can laugh at both. I love it. Oh, that's funny. So somebody just tweeted at me and it actually popped up on my iPhone. Maybe I will keep using the iPhone for these videos. It said I cannot find a name or I couldn't find a Twitter for General John Kelly. So one of the things is, as my story gets out, you always have like enlisted officer friction in the military. But one of the things is, I know that he is the last person to have possessed my Freedom Wagon. So it was a cream-colored, I think it was a Mercury. I'm not really sure what exactly it was, but cream-colored station wagon, 4 doors. I'll tell you later. I'll tell you more about the Freedom Wagon. I'll let you know how we almost flew off the side of a cliff with it. Woo! But so before I got out, one person came up to me and said, "You know what?" And he was like a really artistic dude. He's like, I'm leaving. He's like, "Can I leave a message for everybody else on your car?" I was like, "Dude, do you want to sign my car?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I know it sounds a little weird." I'm like, "No, dude, that's freaking awesome." So, got a magic marker, and he was the first person to sign my car, and just a little goodbye message. Some of them weren't pleasant, because even if you love your time in the Marine Corps like I did, when you get close to getting out and you get close to not having to do this really difficult job anymore, you get like short-timer's disease, and you just want to move on to your next step. Even for me, I took advantage of the Clinton college cut where they're shrinking the military. And instead of serving 4 years, I served 3 years, 9 months, and 1 day. And because I didn't serve 4 years, I can't get USAA, and I'm jumping on way too many tangents. Sorry. So the story started with my father, Catholic. Oh, Hillary Clinton, high school. I'm a centrist. You probably figured that out already. So anyways, oh yeah. So General Kelly, I sold my car to another Marine NCO on a handshake for $50. I went back to the base a year after with some friends and just kind of check things out from a civilian point of view, and my car was still there, but the NCO that I sold the car to, he had been deployed somewhere. Maybe it's Somalia. I think that was going on about then. But anyways, I heard the battalion commander, and actually the battalion commander may have changed it, so maybe it wasn't Kelly, but I think it was Kelly still, because I got out in January '93. I think he was there '92 to '94, so it was him. Anyways, so the battalion commander took possession of his as a car, and because I don't know if he knew it was mine. Well, the reason I wanted to find it is I probably shouldn't say. I was a Marine Corps instructor for water survival, and I drowned one of his prize lieutenants one day during swim qualifications. So he probably did, so if General Kelly remembers me, he may not have the fondest memories of me, but if he remembered that and he knew that car was mine, instead of taking it to junkyard, I could see him doing something like, because the Kelly that's the chief of staff now, he kind of had this. He was like a politically correct person, but he still had sort of a Mustang personality, and he, like early on, like the Marines in his, I don't want to get in the whole kind of John Kelly thing. Early on, people were wary of him, the new major, but then he encouraged officers to interact with enlisted guys, and got us to go to different schools like jump school, and got to go to LA riots, got to work with the DA, got to do a lot of cool stuff. And I'm on a tangent. So, anyways, if somebody can figure out where my Freedom Wagon is, I'd appreciate it, especially if it didn't go to a junkyard, because if they drug it out to like an artillery range and popped it with mortars and I can salvage it now, woo! I'd like do a Kickstarter campaign and like try and get like the Fast and Loud guys to put it back together. It was beautiful. It had a 2-barrel carburetor on a 6-cylinder, and it had a hole in a carburetor, which kind of screws with the vacuum. I won't get all technical. But what happened was, like, nowadays millennials won't understand this, but like in the old cars, you could floor it, and you'd have like this really long turbo drag, be like, whoa, 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 and the air fuel mixture would get all messed up, and I just have plumes of smoke coming out the back. So like literally, we'd see people who, kind of dress douchey, like, I don't want to be judgmental, but you could kind of tell where, women want safety and security. Sometimes it's going to be with a big muscular guy. Sometimes it's going to be with a Marine. Sometimes it's going to be with the rich dude who can afford to hire the Marine to keep him safe. But, he got to stop going on tangents. Sorry. So the Freedom Wagon, yeah. So when we saw dudes like that sometimes, I'd go ahead and we'd like pull in front of them, and everybody like keep their eyes looking forward, but everyone's like looking in the rearview mirror, and then you hear the whoa, ma, and man, that plume of smoke, and good times. Anyways, yeah, it really was. So so let's see. So in high school, when me and my friends decided we're going to go into Marines, it was like me and another guy kind of decided independently, and then we started talking to each other about it, and ended up talking to my little sister, and she's like, she was used to like all the Agent Orange stuff that the people did, and yeah, this is kind of your new Agent Orange story, but she said, if you join the Marines, you're gonna go fight in a war, and you're gonna die, and everyone's gonna forget you, or you're gonna get sick, and the government won't take care of you. Now, the amazing part of that story is, I got out of the Marines, I got a degree in electrical engineering, I was in the prime of my career when this Gulf War illness hit me. And the first 2 years, I just had all these weird reactions to antibiotics, and even though the VA has studies and stuff, and they'll show like how many different people develop symptoms over time, it started off like 30,000 a year, now it's like maybe 10,000 a year. They never thought to like let the now it's like maybe 250, 300,000 of the 692,000 that are sick and symptomatic. They never decided to let the other 400,000, the other 500,000, 600,000 that weren't sick yet, that this is what's coming, these are symptoms to watch out for. That's not what the VA does. They decided, we can't figure this stuff out because they're VA, and yeah, VA healthcare is an oxymoron. I'm gonna have to over medicate before I start getting the VA part too much. So, but kids, don't smoke your grandpa's medication. Well, I'm gonna do like a whole 90 minutes on cannabis and why it should be Schedule C. And the big key is it is so unlike anything else that's scheduled. And one of the key things that really blows people's mind away is that when they know that your body produces its own cannabinoids, the cannabinoids are the things that people try to vape or smoke off the plant. And the number one receptors in your brain and in your body, the number one type of nerve receptor are cannabinoid receptors. And most people, like, that just blows them away. And honestly, I catch so many VA doctors. Well, they'll talk to me about cannabis like they know what it is, and I'll ask them those two questions. It's like, do you know that your body produces its own cannabinoids? Do you know that your number one nerve receptor in your, in your brain, in your body, are your CB1, CB2 receptors, your cannabinoid receptors? And they'll look at me and clueless and be like, I didn't know that. And I'll just sit there. And, it took me 5 years of being sick, and then 2.5 years at the VA where I'm just like, oh my God, why do you act like a subject matter expert on something you know absolutely nothing about? And if you haven't heard by now, I'm 9 months past my suicide date, and cannabis indica saved my life. So, but I'm going to do a whole 90 minutes on cannabis and how bad this golfer illness pain is. Oh my God, it's worse than childbirth. I know, the women are going to, oh, why is he saying such disparaging things? But, and I don't have any kids, I haven't asked my buddies, but I'll ask them later. I'll say, when your wife was given childbirth and you're like, push, 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 was she like, hand me a shotgun, you got a rope, you got some vodka and a bottle of pills? Well, there were only like 692,000 Americans that went over to Kuwait to give them their country back. And I don't know how many of us are left, but I'm pretty sure that if other people had that golfer illness pain where your muscles are just filled with glue and just move, and it feels like you're ripping your muscle fibers apart, and it just slowly wears you down until you start thinking about how rational suicide really is. And I'm going to do 90 minutes on suicide later. I'm going to try to get back to the story. So anyways, father got kicked out by the communists, came to America, raised me and my brothers and sisters. I joined the Marines, and I got to do one of the coolest things in the world. I got to do for the people of Kuwait something that nobody could do for my father. They couldn't give him his country back. So even now, I'm sick. After 25 years of weighing 175 pounds, I'm down to 145. Thank you, VA healthcare system. You suck. Anyways, I'm going to really get into detail on the VA healthcare system about an hour after I open up a little more Grand Doggy Purple. Believe it or not, guys, the shatter form, if you have golfer illness, perfect. It's going to run about 40-20 CBD, THC to CBD, but everyone really gets over-focused on the THC, and it's really the smaller known cannabinoids that really sort of color and colorize the way the THC works and everything. And I'll get into the whole 90-minute thing on it later, but yeah, your body produces cannabinoids. Amazing. You have an endocannabinoid system. And cannabis really alleviated a lot of my symptoms. Could it be that this golfer illness thing is nothing more than some form of endocannabinoid corruption? What do I know? I'm just a homeless former electrical engineer cut down in the prime of my career by something that nobody told me was coming. And I'm going to be good because I got my, I'm pushing through my disability now. I've got my, oh my God, I'm running 20 minutes. Okay, enough tangents. I'm sorry if this is run late. If you can, try and get me to like 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours. Just tell your friends. I do not seek fame or fortune. The only thing I'm seeking is for people to get out there and tell my story. So, because it's Agent Orange, it happened all over again. It took them 20 years to figure it out. But the biggest thing is, my brothers and sisters I fought in combat with, no one's telling them. And right now, one of them, they could be on work on a performance improvement plan, trying to wonder, why isn't my memory going? I need a godforsaken skin freaking disease. And I see something crazy. I used to have a Superman disease. The VA said, oh, you've got folliculitis. Motherfucking folliculitis doesn't eat through a tattoo, you stupid doctards, the VA. Sorry, I'm going to talk to the VA later after I open up a fresh Grand Doggy Perps. But yeah, the VA healthcare system, they suck. You know what? I would love to see a study of the people that are 100% disabled and receiving a $3,000 a month check. How many of those people also have like supplemental insurance or other insurance using that money because the VA healthcare is so terrible? Ooh, that study might be a good one. But what do I know? Okay, so I got to give the people of Kuwait their country back, and no matter how sick I get, I will not ever regret doing that. And I did get to give, after 52 years in exile, I got to bring my father home. So, yeah. I do have some regrets, honestly. I regret every single cigarette I've ever smoked. So any kids out there, if you ever see if I post photos of me smoking, I regret even having the cigarette in the photo. I actually did not quit smoking until after my first triathlon. That's how bad that addiction is. Don't start. No reason to ever touch it. Back when I was in high school, it was a little different. The smoke, you probably had like 50% of the population smoking, not 20% like it is now. So you had a lot more peer pressure and stuff like that. But yeah, so I regret every single cigarette I smoked except for 5. And all 5 of those cigarettes came after sex. So if you think about it, even the 5 best cigarettes I ever had, I smoked them all when I was already in a really, really, really good place. So they really didn't enhance anything. So even at the best, cigarette smoking isn't worth it. So anyways, I'm over 21 minutes. Try and share my story, and yeah, I'm gonna come back and we're gonna talk a little VA. Woo! Godspeed all.